You ever wonder where New York residents go when their family grow and they want to improve their daily life? Look no further than the Upper West Side. My name is Chris Jordan. I'm a luxury real estate agent here in New York City. And in this video, we're going to take a look at what makes the Upper West Side so special. The Upper West Side starts at Columbus Circle on 59th Street and it stretches all the way to 110th Street. You have Central Park on the east side of the neighborhood and you have the Hudson River on the west side of the neighborhood. First thing you'll realize when you step in the Upper West Side is just the culture that is packed with, right? And I think the Lincoln Center is the focal point of that. And one of the main reasons that residents love living here is because you have world-class entertainment and world-class art in the middle of your neighborhood. The Upper West Side is also known for its architecture. The Upper West Side is dominated by pre-war architecture, historical brownstones, and tree-lined streets. And the funny thing about the Upper West Side is one of the things that people tell me that visit New York from the rest of the world is that the Upper West Side is what they imagine New York City looked like before they got to New York City. So I always tell people, if you like nostalgia, you want that classic New York City feel, I think you'll love the Upper West Side. And I said this about a few neighborhoods. I think the Upper West Side do have similar architecture to the West Village, but I always look at it like this, right? The West Village is almost like a small town, much, much smaller than the Upper West Side. The Upper West Side is just on a larger scale. It feels more like a city. And when it comes to the demographic of the Upper West Side, I think you have all types of different demographics that live in the Upper West Side because that's New York City, right? But I think one of the main demographics that stay in the Upper West Side is families. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the things we spoke about up to this point, right? The culture, the community. The Upper West Side give you a slower pace, but still having the attractions of New York City. You also have bigger layouts and apartments, and you have access to two main parks. And I think this is probably the biggest one. In all honesty, this is my favorite thing about the Upper West Side is its accessibility to two major parks, right? So as I said earlier, on the east side of the neighborhood, you have Central Park. We don't have to go in depth about Central Park. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're familiar with Central Park. But on the west side of the neighborhood, you have Riverside Park. And Riverside Park, if you know any residents from the Upper West Side, this is what I like to call the Residence Park. Most of Upper West Side residents spend much of their time in Riverside Park. It has a very calmer feel. In Central Park, less foot traffic, you get water views, you have running paths, you can read books, cafes, a lot of shade. So Riverside Park almost becomes an extension of a lot of residents' living room. So it's one of Upper West Side main amenities. And I think Riverside Park and the everyday life that Upper West Side offer you, one thing I've realized is that people that move to the Upper West Side usually stay here for 10, 15 years because even though the Upper West Side is relatively large, it almost gives you an intimate experience. You know, there's a lot of small businesses littered throughout the neighborhood. So you get to know your local cafe workers, you get to know your local restaurant owners, you get to know your neighbors, and a lot of times it's on a first name basis. So I think that experience really make it hard for a lot of people to leave the Upper West Side once they experience it. Then before we leave, we could speak a little bit about the real estate. When it comes to the real estate, as we said earlier, the Upper West Side have a lot of different demographics, but I'll be honest, just like we spoke about, the Upper West Side is about nostalgia, that pre-war New York City experience. A lot of them are going to be classical, but it is a very small supply of new developments. So if that's something you're interested in, they do that. They do have that. They have the trophy penthouses, so they do have a little bit of everything. But again, it's dominated by that pre-war co-op, that pre-war architecture, with some new development sprinkled in, along with some historic brownstones. So, with that being said, Upper West Side to me is not the trendiest, it's not the flashiest, but I think that's exactly why New York City residents love it, because New York City is a big city where if you know, you know, and I think the Upper West Side is a great representation of that. The Upper West Side is built on community, family, parks, culture, and intimacy for their residents. Again, my name is Chris Jordan. I'm a luxury real estate agent here in New York City. And if you think about moving to the city, you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email here. Other than that, have a great summer. It's a beautiful day out here. It's 90 degrees, but we got a great little breeze. But I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for joining me.